So we're going to manage the data that we get from our combo boxes in much the same way as we got this global module-wide variable set here. Because when somebody is using the form and they press the drop down and then select it, they might select the same one, they might select a new one. We want to be able to keep track of what is selected so that we're always working with the most current values. What we'll do though is we'll set our variables up, which are going to be module wide as I said, and we're going to set them up with initial values. So here they are here. So these are going to sort of have insurance period, fuel period, servicing period, road tax period, insurance cost, that is fuel cost, servicing, and road tax. Now these are set up initially to annual for the periods and 0 for each of the values, which are going to be numeric values for the numbers involved in the costs that we incur each year or each period for our various running costs. So that's us set up some variables which are going to be very useful because they're going to be available throughout the whole of the module. And what we'll now do is we'll set up the events which launch, which fire when each of the combo boxes is changed. Very straightforward. So for each one of our combo boxes, let's do this one first. So there we are. Go down here. And just below the loaded event, I'm going to put selection changed. And that launches a new stub for a method here, and we'll put the code in here. Now the code that we used in this one is going to be identical for each one, but we'll just change the variable that gets assigned when the event is fired. So in this case, I'm assigning the insurance period to whatever is in this item when the selection is changed. So once again, I've got the combo box, and I'm selecting that item as a string, and that will then be assigned to the variable, which is the module-wide variable insurance period, which we've set up here. So that's now been signed. So what we'll move on to, as I will just go on and change all of these, and then I'll show you what I've done. So I've now introduced the methods for each one of those because I added a selection changed event to each. Now when this is fired, when the person does the drop down and selects an item in the combo, this event will be fired and the value that's in the combo will be assigned to the module wide variable, which is set up here. So now that we've got this, let's start handling the data that we have. This is really important. Now we've already got the value that's been brought forward from the loan page. So we've got a loan. So we'll need to start to use the values that are on here for our harvesting of the form data for the running costs class. So we've got the values that the combo boxes are working with, and we're recording these changes in our module-wide variables. So what we also want to do is we want to record in module-wide variables the values of these boxes. And we're going to do what's called a harvest again. And we're just going to have a method that we can call when we need to get the values when we press this button. So let's look at the code here. Now I'm not prepared to spend a lot of time on this because it's exactly the same as we did in the previous form. So I'm just going to paste it in. And we do exactly the same as we did before. As I say, we're going to check whether there's anything in the text box. And if there is anything in the text box, we're going to try and see whether it's the right type of value. And if it is, we'll assign it to the global variable that we've got above. Sorry, the module-wide variable that we've got above, insurance and so forth. So that's exactly as we did before. As I say, I'm not going to dwell on this. And we give the error messages for each one, and we do the fuel cost and the servicing and the road tax as well. So if I just let that sit there for a second, where are we? We start there on line 1333. That's where it starts. Same as before. and you can just pause if you need to check anything out. And that's us doing the harvesting of the data in the text boxes. So what we need to do is we need to use that function in the button click event. So I'm going to call it just here. And then we need to also, while we're at it, make sure that we're getting the right set of values for our summary brought forward. So summary equals and this is going to be summary brought forward, which is our global up here, so our module wide here, so we know we're working with the most current version of that. So we've harvested the values. What we now need to do is we need to set up an object of type running cost, which will get its values from the global module wide variables above. Now I've got that on my clipboard, so I'll paste that in here. And so the running cost, it's called, the object we're going to use is called running cost, equals a new running cost, and its insurance field is the insurance variable above, the insurance period is the insurance period above, etc. So what we now need to do is that because we've got this value here, summary, let's put this in to the summary cost summary as its running cost object. So summary dot running cost equals running cost. So we've now got a loan and a running cost value set inside our variable. So what we'll do next is we'll make sure that we can test this out, and we'll just set up a few more things, and then we'll test that we've got the values of the data that we need. So in our next video, what we'll do is we'll check that all the stuff we've brought forward actually exists, that we can see the data for the loan and that we can see the data for the running cost, and that'll be in the next video.